just want to become firefighters, so they know we can get them there. But our number one question over the last 6 to 8 months for sure is, how can I do this course if I can't go to Texas, right? And it's like, oh, you can, right? So my biggest battle is just convincing them that they can, right?
Yeah, honestly, like we literally got picked up at the airport and straight to boot camp, and we were with the people, exact same people for the 2 weeks, right? After that, obviously, it's up to your discretion. Like if you're going to go out, if you're staying an extra night, whatever it is. But other than that, you're with the same people, same instructors.
Yeah, I think it's hard for people to understand how, now that you've been there, you laugh, but how isolated our campus really is from the world out there.
It is. You don't see any outsiders.
We literally, like you said, pick you up at the airport with the free shuttle, take you to our campus, and you and everyone else in boot camp are together for the full 14 days. Yeah, no one's going to baseball games, football games, no one going out for barbecue or to the bar, or restaurants, or anything. So
yeah,
that's been that way even long before COVID. I mean, we've done it the same way now for 17 years. So it wasn't that we changed that for the virus, but it certainly helps, right, in our situation.
Yeah, exactly.
It is scary. I mean, when, when the Prime Minister gets on the news a month ago and says, now's not the time to travel, everyone's going to have to stay in a hotel and it's going to cost you $2,000 and all these things. It is scary, right? And people don't have that kind of time or money or whatever. So, so it was definitely great to see that that was not the case in your situation to return. And I'm glad the letters and everything worked out good.
As for like the hotel and everything, I know for sure, since we were down there for emergency service training, you're exempt from that completely. For my case, my officer was just like, let me see if you need to go to a hotel. So he went to go talk to a supervisor. I'm staying there. I'm like, that better not happen. He's like, oh wait, sorry, you were down there for first responder training, like you're fine, like you don't know hotel, you're exempt from all that and everything. So yeah, it is for sure, because he asked the supervisor, and emergency service training is exempt from it.
And so when you started a year ago, in the course,
end of April.
You started a year ago. I remember your call, and you wanted to get going. You were in TV production, which is awesome. So it just goes to show we have people in all walks of life taking this course, right? All types of professionals and workforce people, and just all kinds of different students. So you started basically right away, right? You were online, you started, you knew you wanted to do it. How did COVID starting last summer delay you at all, or did it give you more time?
It honestly didn't delay me at all. I found that to be the perfect opportunity to actually do the online coursing, because I know, like, okay, I'm working from home now. I can manage my time by doing this and doing my work, just because like I was commuting to Toronto for work, obviously, and back, and by the end of the day, you're tired, right? So I found that to be like the perfect time for me to actually like sit down and be able to do it and get a good chunk done and not be like exhausted from work or whatever. So it motivated me.
So then you booked your boot camp. You knew you wanted to go. You did your COVID testing to travel down, right? Because they needed that to fly to the US.
Yeah.
The airport, the shuttle picked you up with all these other Canadians that were looking around, wondering, where do we go? What do we do? You found each other. And from there, you were a family. You couldn't get away from each other, right?
Yeah, exactly. There's 10 Canadians in that boot camp out of the 14 of us. So we all just kind of walked around the airport, like, are you here for boot camp or whatever? So we all just kind of waited for Instructor Ashbach to pick us up. So yeah.
That's great. So once you were at the school, as always, you do an orientation. What was your first impression of the school? I guess I would say in general, most students have two impressions. One is pulling up to it because it's out in the middle of nowhere. And the second is once they walk through the front doors and they see where they're going to be staying, living, eating, it's a little bit different than when they first pull into the parking lot. So
I thought it was going to be very like military style, to be honest. When I first walked in, I'm like, okay, like this is like serious, like this is crunch time pretty much. Like you're here for 2 weeks, and I can see basically how they laid it out and everything. Like, okay, you're living in these like quarters and everything, and you're going to be trained to be a firefighter. So they're kind of giving you that idea of like you're living at the department or whatever for the 24 hours kind of thing. So you kind of get like the vibe of it. Living close to, obviously, like the bay is right outside our dorm doors and everything, and then getting used to like routine and everything. So my first impression was definitely thought it was going to be like military style when I saw it all, but honestly it was good practice for sure.
And then your first Saturday, Sunday, typically is hazmat and getting to know some of the instructors and
Yeah.
kind of coaching you through some of that theory before you really hit the practical stuff the rest of the week, right?
Yeah, the hazmat was definitely helpful because I know a lot of people go down with like hazmat being like so confusing. Like for me, it was confusing. It was hard for me to like get a hold of it, but actually having those first 2 days to do hazmat really, really helped because throughout the week when we did our hands-on, it kind of clicked. We're like, oh yeah, I remember Instructor Hale talking about this, and like I remember this. This is all coming together now when you're doing your hands-on stuff. So I thought that to be very, very helpful that it was at the start of the week rather than like at the end of the week or midweek or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And then of course you ended on live burns like we always do, right?
Yes.
You,
Those are the best days. The best days, hands down.
you guys were class 291.
One. Yeah.
That's awesome. So yeah, we've been doing this a long time. By 291 boot camps through, the instructors pretty much have a system. They know what to expect. They know what people are going to excel at, which system works best for you.
Yeah.
So ending it on a high note with the live burns and full scenarios is always an exciting.
It was honestly the best 2 days for sure. Like if I could pick any of the days, it was definitely those two. The burn days, like you actually are immersed into it. You get like the real feel for it and like a real life situation. And like, especially when the very, very last scenario, when the instructors are like, okay, you're going to be finding these kind of people, they're disoriented and they actually acted on that. It's like, okay, this is how people are actually going to be. They weren't giving in, being like super easy. They were walking away, whatever it is. And it's up to you to go find them and like try and get them out and everything. So
in the smoke, in the heat, in the fire, on air.
Yeah.
That's good. Working as
it was awesome.
Yeah, that's great stuff. That's great stuff. So, and then you did your final exam on the last Friday, like you said, and then everyone kind of departed from there, right? And made their way back to Canada. So
yeah.
So that's awesome. That's our normal boot camp process. We usually have around 500 students a year go through that process. So I know it's hard to imagine, but they usually come back to Canada and or wherever they are from all over the world and go back to their jobs. And people from their work ask them, how was boot camp? If they even know that they left, right? Sometimes they don't even know that you were gone to a fire academy for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But did your people at work know you were going down for this?
Oh yeah. I told them because I wouldn't like shut up about it and everything. And then coming back, like it's only been a day. I worked yesterday and then obviously midway through today, I've just been talking about it the entire time. So yeah.
It's awesome. So it sounds like you're ready. You're gonna be anyway, you'll be on with the Toronto Fire Department in no time.
Soon enough.
Toronto's probably the most common department or the most popular department, I guess, for our students. We get a lot of students on with Toronto, but of course, just like in Vancouver, there's, dozens of departments around the area, just like in Toronto, right? The GTA has dozens of departments, like you said, everything from Pickering down through, up Oshawa, Pickering, Mississauga, Oakville, Burlington, all the way down to Hamilton, London. Right. So lots and lots of options for you guys.
There are lots hiring now too. And even more so from like people that I know actually on departments. They're saying like, we're hiring X amount this year. So there's a lot of hiring going on this year.
I think last year when COVID struck, they kind of put everything on hold to see what was going to happen. But after a year, you can't wait anymore. There's people who are retiring. There's a need for it as much as any other time in history. So yeah, now's a good time. If you're going to be in departments, now's a great time to do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Alicia, for your time.
No problem.
All the best to you there in Ontario. And if you ever need anything from us, you're part of the TD family now, so just reach out.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.